is the Agricultural Training Institute. We are the training arm of the Department of Agriculture since 1987. We are the premier institution managing the country's extension services. We uphold leadership in agricultural extension through our network of 16 training centers located at the heart of rural communities across the country. We equip extension workers, farmers, and other key players in agriculture with outcome-based knowledge and skills. Our services are anchored on 6 thematic platforms of our core functions. We synergize agriculture with informed and capable professionals. The farmers, the fishers, and their families, infusing them with knowledge, developing their skills with the mindset to make a difference in their community. Our passion to serve finds fulfillment as we inform, support, and sustain the growth of urban and rural communities. We connect with partners in agriculture to uplift the human capital and hasten socio-economic progress. This is the Agricultural Training Institute today. We are providing excellent extension services beyond boundaries.
This is the Manila Bulletin, traversing time and truth since 1900, the newspaper with a century-long legacy of standing witness to the country's history and development. The Manila Bulletin's strong commitment to delivering news and information to the Filipino nation is a testament to its role in nation building and empowering the Filipino people. The Manila Bulletin tells timely stories and timeless truths. And this is its story. At the beginning of the 20th century, at the heart of the sprawling New American Center in Southeast Asia, 2 Americans, Carson C. Taylor and H.G. Farvis, organized a shipping and commercial publication and called it the Daily Bulletin. It was renamed as the Manila Daily Bulletin in 1906. In 1957, the Manila Daily Bulletin became a Filipino-owned publication after it was acquired by Menzi and Company. Its publisher, Hans Menzi, laid the foundations of the broadsheet as the exponent of Philippine progress. In 1961, philanthropist and business tycoon Dr. Emilio T. Yap was elected director and vice chairman. Don Emilio was named chairman of the board in 1982. Under his leadership, the Manila Bulletin was ushered in a new era of journalism to become the nation's leading newspaper by investing in a computerized editorial system, the first in Asia, and started publishing its full-color issue. Today, the Manila Bulletin is headed and managed by Chairman Basilio Yap and Dr. Emilio C. Yap III. The Manila Bulletin continues to chronicle the Philippines' current events and milestones. During the Japanese occupation in 1942, the Manila Daily Bulletin was forced to stop its operations, and in 1945, the Carriedo offices were reduced to rubble during the brutal Battle of Manila. When the late President Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law, the Manila Daily Bulletin ceased its operations once again, but after 2 months, it reopened and was renamed the Bulletin Today. In 1977, Bulletin Today upgraded its printing facilities, moved into its own and current location in Moralia Street in Intramuros, and diversified its reach through the Philippine Panorama, its Sunday magazine, and Tempo and Balita, its tabloid publications. As readers are in search for more diversified and specialized content, the Manila Bulletin launched several magazines and digests, such as Agriculture, Animal Scene, and Going Places. It also acquired local and vernacular favorites, such as Liwayway, Hiligaynon, Bisaya, and Banawa. The Manila Bulletin transformed itself into a multi-platform media provider and innovated the newspaper reading experience by integrating special executions in its publications, including a 3D edition, NFC, QR codes, pop-ups, false covers, and belly bands. The Manila Bulletin also opened digital platforms such as a website, app, and e-paper. Its website is one of the most visited and trusted Philippine news websites in the country. Its Facebook and Twitter accounts and YouTube channel are one of the most accessed in social media, engaging the young generation of news and information consumers. Today, the Manila Bulletin strives to make the nation be fully informed, at the same time uplifting the Filipino spirit through there's good news here. This is the Manila Bulletin, and the Manila Bulletin will continue to inform, inspire, empower, telling timely stories and timeless truths through this century and beyond.
Good morning o Happy New Year mga ka-Agri-Friends! Welcome sa atong programa, AgriTalk 2021. Our health, our body, our priority. I'm Mal Japet Alvarez, your host for today. And we are streaming at ATI Northern Mindanao, DAATI, Agriculture Magazine, Smart Community, and Manila Bulletin Facebook pages today as our partners in AgriTalk and in agricultural development. Kini atong programa nga AgriTalk. Adunay tumaka episode. Karong buntaga ang unang nga episode. Ug magbadayon kita sa sunod Biyernes, January 29, 2021 sa mao gyapon nga oras. As we know, ang mga pagkaon nga atong kinakaon matag adlaw adunay dako nga contribution sa atong health. Ug labi na sa mga common nga mga sakit nga kasagaran nga mga bation sa katawhan karon. Karon nga episode, pagahisgutan sa atong resource person ang common diseases ug unsay buhaton aron malikayan ang maong mga sakit ug unsaon ang pag-manage niini. At ang iusap, ang mga recipe sa pagkaon nga isa-suggest sa atong resource person aron makadugang sa atong pagalutoon alang sa atong mga pamilya. Ang atong resource person karong adlaw usa ka doktor ug espesyalista sa lifestyle medicine. She has been with family medicine for 14 years and now lifestyle medicine for 9 years. She is the president of Remnant Institute Incorporated and president of Philippine College of Lifestyle Medicine. Di katulanganon, please welcome Dr. Michelle Acero Palma.
All right, what do we got?
Just came in. Heart attack. 5'9", 300 pounds, 32 years old.
How the hell does that happen?
Can I get a, Could be developing diabetes. You have to make a change. Oh, yeah.
You're graduating! Watch TV. You won't even have to leave.
You can't do this.
Yes, can I get a...
Yeah, no, deep tip.
You have to make a change. Good job, Jim. You got an A+.
Here are your fries, sweetie. You go.
I still can't believe you give this child fresh ice.
I know, but it's the only thing that'll make him stop.
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Dr. Michelle Acero Palma. I would like to thank Agricultural Training Institute for hosting this online or virtual education session. So for this session, we will be discussing about culinary medicine on your plate every meal. Actually, itong session po natin is divided into two. So this is about an hour and a half na discussion natin about culinary medicine. So I'm sure dun sa mga nakikinig ngayon at nanonood, I'm sure that culinary medicine is new, no? Bago sa inyong pandinig. It was also new to me 4 years ago. Kung nakikita nyo dito sa ating screen, you will see their plate, no? So basically, this signifies the utilization of food, in fact, as medicine, especially sa mga chronic diseases that people are suffering from. So, ang culinary medicine po ay basically a combination of culinary skills, paano piniprepare yung pagkain, especially sa ating mga farmers, no, yung inyong hina-harvest sa inyong mga garden. There are active constituents and there are nutrients dun sa mga pagkain na hina-harvest natin. How do you utilize them? How do you prepare them for optimal health? Kasi meron din naman pong ibang preparation ng pagkain, especially specifically, no, processing of food that are sometimes harmful and can be detrimental to health. So, ang pag-uusapan po natin in culinary medicine is basically combination of culinary skills and the science of medicine. Kaya po kasama ang chronic diseases sa ating pag-aaralan in culinary medicine. So like I said earlier, we will have discussion on some chronic diseases, yung mga common conditions that Filipinos are suffering from. So as you can see here sa inyong screen, ito yung mga top 5 causes of death worldwide. In fact, this is one of my favorite slides. This is a data coming from the World Health Organization. Hindi pa po siya napapalitan. Ano? It's the same conditions that causing death worldwide. And same is true in the Philippines. So kung makikita nyo, it's cardiovascular disease, respiratory disease, cancer, diabetes, and stroke. So medyo nakakatakot kung titignan mo kasi ang daming Filipinos ang may cardiovascular cardiovascular disease, and all these 5 top causes of death. Unfortunately, marami po kasing Pilipino na hindi aware on how to prevent these conditions, on how to manage these conditions using lifestyle intervention. So ibig sabihin kasi ng lifestyle intervention, it has something to do sa ginagawa natin every single day kasi lifestyle na. But that is also a good news kasi what you can see in this top 5 cause of diseases, the commonality between these 5 is they are lifestyle related. So ibig sabihin, pag lifestyle related, that means we can do something to prevent and manage these conditions. You as a patient, tayo, yung mga pasyente na merong ganitong klaseng sakit, meron po tayong pwedeng gawin upang matulungan natin ang ating mga sarili. Now you will see in the screen, ito po ay another data from the World Health Organization. Ito naman po ay may connection sa COVID-19, so sa pandemic na hinaharap natin ngayon. Now you can also see here, the data is saying na kapag tayo may non-communicable diseases or if you have this chronic condition, same lang din po yung pinakita natin kanina, high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, heart attack or stroke, chronic respiratory conditions, and cancer, pag ito po ay present sa atin, it increases the risk of susceptibility to COVID-19. And ganun din po sa development ng fatality. So that means we are not only preventing chronic conditions here. When you manage non-communicable disease, hindi nyo lang po piniprevent yung diabetes or yung high blood pressure, but we are also preventing our fatality kung meron pong chances, which is really high, na tayo ay ma-infect ng COVID-19. Now here, kung makikita nyo dito sa data ng CDC or Center for Disease Control and Prevention, at least coming from China, makikita po natin dito na yung mga pasyente na may heart disease, diabetes, chronic respiratory disease, high blood pressure, and cancer. The same po dun sa mga top 5 killer diseases na pinakita natin kanina, they have the higher chances of fatality. Ibig sabihin, kapag ikaw ay na-infect ng COVID-19, mataas po ang chance that you will develop critical condition. Kaya napaka-importante po to take care of our health. Iwasan po na tumaas ang ating blood pressure. Kailangan makontrol po yung ating blood sugar, and so on and so forth. So ang gagawin po natin ngayon, pag-uusapan natin in a bit yung mga chronic diseases na to. So we will start with hypertension kasi ang dami sa Pilipino ang may alta presyon. Kung titignan natin ng mga datos, in fact, over 12 million of Filipinos are affected with hypertension. Unfortunately, over half of these people who have hypertension are not aware na may hypertension sila. And yung mga pasyente naman na na-diagnose na may hypertension sila, unfortunately, napakarami sa kanila ang hindi rin nagko-comply sa maintenance medication and they are not even modifying their lifestyle. So if you try to look at it, maraming Pilipino ngayon ang may hypertension. Marami sa atin ang akala kapag tayo tumatanda na at nagkakaedad, expected na nagkakaroon na ng hypertension. Actually, these chronic diseases, we really thought na itong mga chronic conditions na to, they go with age. So, ibig sabihin, pag tumatanda tayo, nag-i-increase yung risk for us to develop these types of conditions. However, let me show you some of the evidences kung nakikita nyo dito sa screen. There are areas in the world where people are taking diet that is basically plant-based. Yung mga kinakain nila, halos gulay, prutas, yung tumutubo sa mga gardens nila kasi they are mostly farmers. Yun po yung mga kinakain nila, basically legumes, vegetables, fruits, tsaka yung mga greens. So yung mga tumutubo sa kanilang locality. So these are indigenous vegetables na kinakain nila. Now, you will notice na in this research, you will see here na the older they get, the lower their blood pressure becomes. So that means kapag habang tumatanda sila, bumababa yung kanilang blood pressure. Kung titignan mo dito, from 15 years old hanggang 60 years old and over, mas bumababa pa nga yung kanilang blood pressure. But if you have to compare this to Europeans and Americans, in which ang lifestyle nila ay ina-adapt ng Filipinos. So you will see that the older we get, the higher the blood pressure becomes. So ito yung sinasabi natin na kapag tayo nagkakaedad, tumataas na yung ating blood pressure, no? Now, pero sa nakikita natin dito sa data na to, you will see here that in those population, ang kanilang lifestyle are mostly plant-based, yung kanilang kinakain. You will see na kapag tumatanda sila, hindi necessary na magkaroon sila ng hypertension. Okay? In fact, bumababa pa nga yung kanilang blood pressure. Now, this is another study in rural part of China. It's the same thing. There is no tendency towards an increase in the blood pressure with age. So kung makikita nyo, regardless of the age, yung blood pressure nila is normal. Now, kung makikita nyo sa kanilang diet, no, meat is not used as general diet. So it's not occupying the center of their plate. So meat is not occupying the center of their plate. So ibig sabihin nito, pag sila kumakain, yung meat, hindi yun yung pinaka main course doon sa kanilang pagkain every meal. Now, if you notice, meron po tayong tinatawag na blue zones, no? Itong blue zones, these are areas in the world where people are living over 100 years old. Nandun yung mga centenarians. Now, one of the common lifestyle they have is their plant-based diet. Now, they eat meat. Some of them, actually, kumakain po talaga sila ng meat. They take wine, you know. But meat is not occupying the center of their plate. So, ibig sabihin, more on vegetables pa rin sila and more on fruits, and they take it during special occasions. Now, looking at this data, makikita mo na in this particular study, and even in the blue zones, kung titignan mo yung mga research doon, they will show you na yung mga tao na more on plant-based ang kinakain, mas lesser yung risk nila to develop hypertension. So yes, may mga pre-industrialized countries in the world who are consuming less than 500 milligrams of salt a day, asin. No, they really take very minimal amount of salt, and you will see that there is total absence of hypertension. So wala pong may hypertension doon sa areas nila. No, napakaganda. Unfortunately, kung i-compare yan sa atin who are living in the industrialized areas, yung mga nakatira sa syudad na who are always relying on foods over the counter, take out ng mga pagkain, orders, you know, delivery, no, ng mga riders natin. Unfortunately, napakarami po kasi mga foods na matataas po ang sodium content. So, unfortunately, hindi na natin na bibilang, na monitor yung ating sodium intake. And now you will see in this part of the world, in these types of population, yung hypertension is one of the top killer diseases. All right, so basically, one of the causes of hypertension is excessive salt intake. No? So na-mention natin kanina, meat intake also increases the risk of developing hypertension. Now, I want to discuss to you another condition which is related sa hypertension. And this is called atherosclerotic heart disease. So dun sa top 5 killer diseases na pinag-usapan natin kanina, nakikita nyo dun na number 1 is heart disease. So I won't allow that these sessions natin will be over without discussing about heart disease kasi number 1 killer po siya. Okay, so here kung makikita nyo dito, ito po yung puso ng tao. So we have 4 chambers in the heart. Meron pong ugat, no? So these are called major blood vessels na nagsusupply po ng dugo doon sa ating heart muscles. So remember, 24/7 nagpapump po yung ating heart muscle. So, kailangan niya po ng blood supply. So, kung makikita mo itong ating mga ugat sa puso, maliliit po yung mga yan. And so, that's why they need enough blood circulation to do their function, to do their job. So, in a normal coronary artery, ganito po dapat siya. So, normally, our coronary artery should be open. Maganda po yung diameter niya. It should be pliable. so that it can deliver enough needed tissue oxygenation and nutrients galing doon sa blood circulation. Unfortunately, marami kasing causes kung bakit nagkakaroon ng lesion doon sa ating coronary arteries. Number one is the dietary intake, especially yung matataas na cholesterol, which causes the build-up nitong plaques na nandito sa ating blood vessel. So kung titignan mo dito, yung daluyan ng dugo ay lumiliit po. So if this is the normal diameter of the arteries, ang nangyayari kapag marami po tayong nakakain ng cholesterol, lumiliit po yung diameter, yung daluyan ng ating dugo papunta sa areas ng puso kung saan kailangan yung oxygen at nutrients. So mamaya pag-uusapan natin saan ba nakukuha itong mga cholesterol plaques na ito. And unfortunately, there are chances na pwedeng mag-develop ng clots or blood clot ang isang tao. And then when it clogs on certain area, halimbawa po dito sa parte ng puso na ito, there will be chances that patients may develop ischemic heart disease. Kasi nga po walang enough na blood supply on that particular area of the heart. And patients may also suffer from heart attack. Yun po ayaw natin mangyari kasi po tinatawag natin ang heart disease as stridor na sakit. Ano? Oftentimes, hindi tayo binibigyan ng warning kung kailan ka mag-heart attack. So, kailangan po talaga nating maging aware kung ano yung mga risk factors para mag-develop ng myocardial infarction or ischemic heart disease para po ito ay maiwasan natin. Now, let's start off with a very, very basic principle na ginagamit po natin sa culinary medicine. So, simple lang po. Basically, all food that you take by mouth, lahat na nilalagay natin sa ating bibig and nilululo natin, basically, pinaprocess po yan ng ating digestive system. After processing sa ating digestive system, ina-absorb po yan ng ating katawan through our blood circulation. Napupunta po lahat yan sa dugo. Other particles that are not digestible, nilalabas po natin through our stool. But basically, whatever components the food has, sometimes it could be nutrients, pwedeng mga antioxidants and other active substances. Unfortunately, some of those things na kinakain natin may have toxins. Matataas yung fat components niya, that's why we are consuming too much of a calorie. So general rule, whatever you put inside your mouth may eventually end up to your blood vessel. So ang tanong ko ngayon, ano po kaya ang nandoon sa ating ugat? So, is it the first class food na galing sa iyong garden, na galing sa harvest mo, na napakaraming antioxidants, nutrients na kailangan ng katawan mo, kailangan ng ating cells? Or is it more of the processed food and animal products na nabibili natin outside and mostly satisfies our cravings and mostly paborito natin kinakain at mostly nakasanayan na po natin siyang kainin. That's why we thought that's the normal diet. No? So simpleng tanong lang, ano po yung nasa dugo natin? Is it the first class food coming from the soil or from the ground, no? Na pinatubo mo dun yung tanim with all the nutrients that are there, whole foods, no? For example, or are these foods na nabibili natin usually outside, which are processed, fat-laden food, and animal-based products. So basically, kung ang inyong sagot po ay mostly ganito po ang laman, no, ng ating katawan, ito po ang nilalagay natin na fuel sa ating katawan, basically, we are consuming too much of a cholesterol. No? Kung ito lagi yung center ng ating plate. So, you have to be aware what cholesterol is all about kasi yung cholesterol po, they are the main causes of plaque formation. So, yung nagbabara sa ugat, specifically sa puso, ay dahil po doon sa cholesterol na kinakain natin from outside sources. So, we need cholesterol. Kailangan po ng katawan natin ng cholesterol kasi po, yung mga hormones na pinuproduce natin, they need cholesterol. Our cells, the biological processes na ginagawa no, that's happening in the body, nangangailangan po ng cholesterol. But the cholesterol that our body needs are actually produced by our own body. So, majority of the cholesterol are produced by the liver, no yung ating atay. So, it produces the cholesterol we need. So in fact, yung outside sources ng cholesterol, hindi po kailangan yun ng katawan ng tao. It's not essential. No? So that means kahit pa hindi ka mag-consume ng anything that has cholesterol, wala pong mangyayaring masama sa atin. So, but on the other hand, since people are consuming a lot of cholesterol, that is basically the reason why the number one killer in the world, including the Philippines, is heart disease. So basically, this is the atherosclerotic conditions of the heart, meaning hardening of the arteries at yung ating daluyan ng dugo sa ating puso, lumiliit po siya. But again, balik po tayo dun sa pinag-usapan natin kanina, since this is a lifestyle-related condition and it has something to do with the food that we put inside our mouth, napakagandang news po nun. Kasi that means we can control, meron po tayong pwedeng gawin to modify that specific lifestyle to improve our conditions. Para po itong blood vessel na to, for example, dito makikita mo, this is the supposed diameter of the heart, ganyan dapat kalaki, but what's happening is that it's occupied by cholesterol plaques and then the blood clots as well. So nakikita nyo, lumiliit po talaga yung diameter na pinagdadaanan ng dugo, towards the blood vessel na sana'y nagbibigay ng supply, oxygen supply and nutrients doon sa ating puso. So basically, these are because of the bad cholesterol or stored fats in the blood vessel, which are coming from the food na kinakain natin every single day. So ganito po yung cholesterol na nakikita natin sa puso. So I know you've heard about bypass operation. Ito po yung ginagawa ng ating mga cardiothoracic surgeon dun sa mga blood vessels sa ugat na talagang totally clogged, na kailangan na po talagang mag-bypass operation. Sometimes they insert the stent, but most of the time, nangangailangan din po ng bypass operation. So nakikita niyo po dito yung cholesterol build-up in the blood vessel. So dito po sa pag-aaral na ito, makikita natin na the higher the cholesterol intake, and the higher the cholesterol level in the blood, makikita natin dito na mas mataas yung risk of developing heart attacks. So in this study, you will see yung Finland ang isa sa napakataas, and then next is the United States. You will see here that heart attack is 14 times more common on this side where the cholesterol is about 300. So if you see, pag nagpapalaboratory tayo, nakalagay doon ang normal value is up to 200. So here you will see even at 200, may nakikita po tayong cases ng heart attack. So later on, I will discuss with you ano po ba talaga yung optimal na cholesterol na kailangan nating i-target so that we will be free from heart attack, according to evidences. Now, let me just remind you that in the Philippines, over 200 Filipinos are dying of heart disease every single day. So napakaraming Pilipino ang namamatay sa heart disease, particularly heart attack. So this is in fact the right time para po ma-remind natin yung ating mga sarili on how to take care of our heart, specifically the blood vessels of our heart. So again, this slide will remind us kung saan nanggagaling yung cholesterol na nakikita sa ating dugo pag tayo pumupunta sa laboratorio, When we test ourselves for laboratory, for lipid profile, ano po yung nakikita dun sa ating dugo? So you can see cholesterol right there. Saan po galing yung cholesterol na yon? So some of those cholesterol are coming from indigenous sources. That means ito yung pinuproduce ng katawan natin. Majority of that is coming from the liver. And of course, yung cholesterol galing sa mga pagkain na kinakain natin every single time. Okay? So, every meal counts. So, gaano karami yung cholesterol na nakain mo from the breakfast, sa lunch, sa snacks maybe, and then sa dinner. So, this is just a review of the sources of cholesterol. So, kung makikita nyo dito, if you consume about 100 grams of liver, so whether it be chicken liver or pork liver, you can get as much as 275 milligrams of cholesterol already. Now, one egg yolk, if you consume medium size of egg yolk, that will give you about 184 milligrams of cholesterol. Next to the hierarchy of cholesterol sources, makikita natin dito are the crustaceans. So seafoods in general, mas mataas in fact yung kanilang cholesterol level compared sa chicken. So you will notice here, lagi nating biniblame yung pork because of the cholesterol. Unfortunately, in fact, sa ngayon, no, with the industry na ginagawa or practices in agriculture, specifically in poultry industry, yung cholesterol level ng chicken ngayon ay mas mataas na compared sa pork. So unless yung ating sources ng chicken, maybe this is free range na tayo po yung nagpalaki doon. So there are chances and there are tendencies na mas mababa yung cholesterol level nila compared sa pork. Now, there is also a difference of the cholesterol level of the pork if this is farm grown, meaning organically grown, compared dun sa commercially grown na mga hogs natin. So you will know and you will see in your industrial practices that we are feeding hormones, no, growth hormones to this to the chickens or sa mga hogs natin para po lumaki yung timbang nila, bumigat yung kanilang timbang because basically yun yung gusto nating mangyari because there will be more ROI to that, no? So these are just some guides na kung paano natin nakukuha yung cholesterol because our purpose is to decrease our intake of cholesterol every single meal. So at least meron tayong idea saan po ba natin siya nakukuha. Now, if we eat beef, for example, you get 65 milligrams of cholesterol approximately. For every 100 grams na kinakain natin. For ice cream, 1 cup will give you 58, and then so on and so forth. Now, how much cholesterol is actually recommended every day? So, sabi ni FNRI, we can consume 300 milligrams of cholesterol per day. So, ibig sabihin, pag ikaw kumain ng 2 pieces of egg yolk, tapos mo na agad. Sobra pa actually yung cholesterol intake mo as recommended for the day. So, pera pa yun. Let's say breakfast pa lang yun. Wala pa yung lunch. Wala pa yung dinner. So, if you were to count all those cholesterol that you have been taking every day na nag-accumulate na siya for the longest time, so dun, that will really explain how much stock of cholesterol plaque ang meron sa ating mga ugat, sa ating blood vessel. So that means ito yung nagiging dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon ng plaques doon sa ating ugat, specifically sa puso. So you will see here na hindi na maganda yung daloy nung ating dugo sa ugat na ito because of the cholesterol plaques. So ang gusto nating mangyari, hindi ito mag-form or kung meron na po siya, pwede po sana siyang matunaw. Yes, I will be showing you evidence later on na pwede po nating tunawin itong cholesterol na nasa ugat natin. It has already been proven by science at ginagawa na po yan sa US just through lifestyle modification. Okay, so that's one good news again. But I want to emphasize here that atherosclerosis begins in childhood. Kasi po, again, akala natin yung heart disease po mangyayari lang kapag ang tao ay may edad na, kapag tumatanda. Kasi nga, chronic degenerative disease. That's how we understand it. Unfortunately, science now and studies are telling us, pinapakita po sa atin, ang atherosclerosis ay nag-uumpisa po during childhood. And eventually, it progresses during adolescence and young adulthood. You will see dito sa pag-aaral na to, almost all person have aortic fatty streaks by age 10 years old. So ito po yung first sign of atherosclerosis na makikita natin sa pediatric age group, no? So basically, this is because of the things that we feed our children. Ano ba yung pinapakain natin sa ating mga anak? No? I would remember, no, ako'y bata pa, alam ko lang naman kainin ay hotdog, corned beef, meatloaf, no? Kasi pag hindi yun ang laman ng pinggan, hindi na kumakain. Pag may gulay na inihain ng magulang, hihintayin umalis sa kakain, no? Para tinatabi yung gulay. So, that's a common problem to Filipinos, especially dun sa mga Pilipino na nasa syudad nakatira, no? Industrialized areas. Kasi sa mga farms, hindi naman masyadong problema yan because basically yun ang pagkain na meron sila every day. But for people living in the city, no, sa mga highly dense na mga communities, dun sa mga syudad, yun ang nagiging problema. So that's why this study is really very relevant, especially to parents, na sana we will be aware dun sa mga pinapakain natin sa ating mga anak. So here you will see that heart disease may start as early as 10 years old. Yung fatty streaks, nakikita na natin sa blood vessel here. That's the beginning of atherosclerosis. And eventually, about age 30, meron na po tayong fibrous plaques. So nakikita mo yung diameter ng blood vessel dun sa ugat ng ating puso. Lumiliit na siya paunti-unti, and it can start killing us at age 40s. So, pero pag may na-form po na blood clots, and then with the presence of calcification, there can be complicated lesions. So, pwede pong magkaroon ng hemorrhage, ulceration, or thrombosis. And here, if you see, if it affects the heart, ibig sabihin, myocardial infarction. Kung ito po ay sa brain or sa ating utak, it can be stroke. Now, if it happens in our toes, sa ating paa, ibig sabihin wala pong magandang blood supply, no? Meron pong peripheral artery disease, especially for patients with diabetes, gangrene can develop, and aneurysm also is most likely to develop in this condition. Now, let me go to the good news. You know, it's been 4 decades already that doctors are studying, pinag-aaralan nila kung paano po ma-reverse ang heart disease na walang surgery. Kasi napakarami din pong pasyente who cannot really afford to undergo surgery, or marami rin pong pasyente that are not good, who are not good candidates for operation. No, basically hindi kaya ng katawan nila, they cannot be cleared for operation. So there must be something else na pwedeng gawin. Now, fortunately, we have this group of doctors na pinag-aralan talaga nila on how do you reverse heart disease using lifestyle modification. So here, basically, itong pag-aaral na to, this was published at the Lancet, and it is called the Lifestyle Heart Trial. Dito sa pag-aaral na to, makikita natin there are control groups at meron din pong lifestyle group. So that means itong mga pasyente na to, they were given lifestyle medicine intervention. So yung diet nila, binigyan po sila ng about 7% calories from fat. Mostly plant-based po yung kinakain itong mga to. Gulay, prutas, no? Yun po yung pinapakain sa kanila. And then this is the control group. So ito yung usual intervention na binibigay natin sa mga pasyente. So you will see in this trial, you will see the result na yung cholesterol level dito sa mga pasyente na onto plant-based diet. So they are vegetarian. So yung cholesterol nila ay bumaba at about 24% compared to 5% doon sa control group. And here you will see that there is 82% regression of the disease. So ibig sabihin, by looking at the laboratory results and then the clinical symptom, bumaba po yung chances ng development or progression ng kanilang heart disease. So there is regression. So that's a good news, right? Compared doon sa control group na mas nag-progress pa yung kanilang sakit. So a very, very simple take-home lesson here is that yung mga pinuproduce ng ating mga farmers, yung gulay at prutas na pinuproduce ng ating farmers are the key to reverse heart condition. Okay? So, yun po yung kailangan nating kainin, yun po yung kailangan nating isupply sa ating katawan so that we can be helped in reversing and preventing heart disease at the same time. Here is another study that was conducted by Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. Both of them, Dr. Dean Ornish and Caldwell Esselstyn, are from the United States. So this person was also able to reverse and prevent heart disease utilizing plant-based diet. So here, makikita nyo dun sa angiogram. So the initial angiogram here, kung makikita nyo in this case, makikita nyo talaga yung constriction ng ugat. So you will see the lesion doon sa blood vessel ng pasyente. And here, you will see a profound development and improvement after 32 months of plant-based diet. So again, ito'y good news na sinasabi natin na yung mga pinuproduce nating farmers na gulay, prutas, basically plant-based, whole food is grown, are the things that can help us with heart disease. Yun yung nakakatulong sa ating mga puso. So on those studies na pinakita ko sa inyo kanina, what's common to that is that the goal of reaching a cholesterol below 150 or 3.8. So I'm sure may mga nakikinig po sa atin or nanonood sa atin ngayon na meron na po silang mga laboratory results kasi po usually first quarter of the year nagpapalaboratory tayo or at the end of the year, so you will see your markers annually. So here, the target cholesterol level is 150 to 3.8. You might be asking, kasi nakalagay dun sa normal values is hanggang 200. Actually, it's 0 to 200. So, but there are many studies telling us na napakaraming cases po ng heart attack even at 160 or up to 200. So, we want the optimal level of cholesterol. So, gusto po natin sana as much as possible heart attack proof po tayo. So, we want our cholesterol lower or about 150 or lower. No? Because studies show na kapag na-reach mo itong level ng cholesterol na ito, the reversal of heart disease is starting to happen. There is regression of lesions. So natutunaw po yung cholesterol plaques, no? Tulad ng pinakita kong study sa inyo kanina. So there you will see in 32 months, no, they were able to reverse the condition. As early as 12 months, meron na pong nakikitang improvement. So it is really nice to take note that in every 15 to 25% drop ng inyong cholesterol, sa usual na cholesterol ninyo, say ang cholesterol niyo laging nasa 200 or 220, in every 15 to 25% drop of your cholesterol, you are decreasing your heart attack risk to as much as 30 to 50%. Again, that's a good news. Why good news? Kasi po, meron po tayong pwedeng gawin. You can control your situation. Things that you put inside your mouth can be controlled by yourself. So, kaya lagi natin nasasabi, behavior change is the key to lifestyle modification to eventually achieve optimal health. So napakalaki po ng role ng food, no, yung kinakain natin. In fact, no, sa development ng heart disease. Now, in the next session na pag-uusapan natin, we will be discussing about diabetes. So hopefully kasama pa rin namin kayo on that discussion. That can be a lengthy discussion kasi po napakaraming may diabetes sa Pilipinas ngayon. 1 in every 5 Filipinos merong pre-diabetes or diabetes. So on the next session, yung po yung pag-uusapan natin. Now, we have already discussed about hypertension. Na-discuss po natin yung heart disease. Basically, ang napag-aralan natin is the intake of salt and the intake of cholesterol. So next up here, we will be talking about some of the foods that we can take para po ma-prevent natin yung hypertension and ma-prevent natin yung heart disease, or to a certain point kung pwede pa nating ma-reverse yung ating condition. Now, that is culinary medicine. What is very amazing and interesting in this generation is the existence of food-based dietary patterns that is being prescribed to patients with chronic diseases. So ngayon, no, yung mga doktor, we are used to discuss about foods that can help our patients prevent these chronic conditions. Kung naalala nyo, dati po kasi, if you ask your doctors, Doc, ano po yung pwede kong kainin at ano yung hindi ko pwedeng kainin, all we can tell you is eat anything in moderation, diba? But right now, tumataas po ng tumataas yung nutrition literacy ng mga physicians. That's why we can now say that we can give you a food-based dietary pattern basing on the chronic conditions of the patient. Marami na pong doktor ngayon ang nakakaintindi na po ng language ng nutrition, and so that we can help and motivate our patients to live a healthier lifestyle. Now, with the cases that I have showed you earlier, dun sa evidences na pinakita ko sa inyo, This is the question that I always like to ask. Is it really a coronary disease or a culinary disease? So like I said, anything you put inside your mouth will eventually end up to your blood vessels. So those salt and then the cholesterol that you take are coming from those foods that you put inside your mouth and eventually ends up to your blood vessel. So essentially, there is a role for culinary practices. So just to introduce to you, culinary medicine is a new evidence-based field of medicine which blends the art of food preparation and cooking and the science of medicine. So say for example, if we are talking about hypertension, like what we have discussed earlier, yung pinag-usapan po natin na heart disease, the language here is not just the medicine na binibigay natin sa inyo, but on the food that we can also prescribe for patients to somehow prevent the development or progression of their heart disease na meron na po sila. And eventually, ultimately, the goal is to help them reverse their condition. In fact, that is the specialty of lifestyle medicine physicians. These lifestyle programs are augmenting the treatment program that the cardiologists, for example, are giving their patients. No? Meron po tayong mga referral patients coming from neurologists, cardiothoracic surgeons, or cardiologists, internists, na nire-refer po sa atin yung mga patients nila for a lifestyle program. And in lifestyle medicine, over 60% of the intervention na binibigay po namin are basically food-based. So that's how important the role of food in the development of disease and in the prevention and management of chronic diseases. So kung makikita nyo, napakalaki po ng role ng ating mga farmers in helping patients to recover from chronic diseases. But I'm sure marami rin pong farmers ang affected with the same conditions. No? So that's why it's really nice that this platform is available para po maging aware tayo dun sa mga kinakain natin kasi napakarami pong farmers that they produce vegetables. Usually, ang nangyayari after they sell their vegetables, binibili po nila ng processed food kasi for them, mas masarap po siya, no? And then, mas malasa, kaya mas nagugustuhan nila. So that's why this educational session that is offered by the Agricultural Training Institute will be really, really helpful for them to be aware na yung palang paborito nating kainin, oftentimes yung po yung nagiging dahilan to increase our risk of developing chronic conditions. So in culinary medicine, we have three basic principles. We wanted people to increase nutrition literacy. So ano ba yung naiintindihan mo about nutrition? So ano ba yung naiintindihan mo about kanin, for example, rice, root crops, for example, vegetables, oils, at kung ano-ano pa. And then we also deal with cooking skills, paano mo piniprepare yung pagkain. And one of the most important principle in culinary medicine is healthy behaviors. So because lifestyle modification deals more on behavior change, so ganun po ka-importante to motivate our patients to start a healthy behavior. So you will never be able to change a behavior overnight. So it takes time bago mo mabago yung behavior. Oftentimes, sasabihin nga ng mga tao, you can never change a behavior anymore kasi may pattern na yan sa brain, no? But fortunately, according to science, pwede po nating improve ang ating behavior, specifically our health behavior. So that's the target of culinary medicine, for us to develop healthy behavior, healthy practices sa ating bahay. On our kitchen. So basically, dun po nag-uumpisa. So in culinary medicine, pinag-uusapan po natin kung ano yung ating kinakain, paano po natin siya piniprepare, ano po yung nilalagay nating mga ingredients doon sa ating mga pagkain, what are some of the healthier substitutes doon sa mga nakasanayan nating ingredients na nilalagay sa ating mga kinakain, maybe to decrease the calories or to decrease the fat component or para ibaba yung cholesterol component ng pagkain. And of course, we also talk about why do we prefer certain types of food. Bakit pa talagang paborito mo yung pagkain na yon? Maybe it has something to do with the pathways in the brain. Kaya po yun ang nakasanayan nating taste. Kaya po tayo laging nagki-crave for specific types of food. And lastly, how do we deal with those unhealthy cravings? Ano pong pwede natin gawin? What are some of the substitutes? How can you avoid taking those favorite foods that are high in calorie and less in nutrients? So, yun po yung mga basic goals natin in culinary medicine. Now, we wanted the language to be food consumption for health purposes. Hindi po tayo kumakain para mabusog lang. So why are you eating? Because you wanted your body to get nourished. Kailangan natin ng resistensya, kailangan ng katawan mo yung mga active constituents, yung mga antioxidants, yung nutrients na nakukuha mo sa pagkain, kaya ka kumakain. You're not only eating to be full, to satisfy your cravings. It is a mindset that we wanted to impart to people na pag tayo ay kumakain, we eat to survive. We eat to sustain health. And we eat para mabuhay. We're not eating to shorten our lifespan. Hindi po tayo kumakain para magkaroon ng hypertension. Hindi po tayo kumakain para itaas yung ating cholesterol. We're not eating to develop diabetes. Kumakain po tayo to survive. Kumakain po tayo to lengthen our lifespan. That is the mindset. Food consumption and health. In fact, in the United States right now, over 15% of medical schools are already including culinary medicine sa kanilang curriculum. So that means medical students and even nutritionists are brought into the teaching kitchen. Tinuturuan sila kung ano yung culinary medicine. So basically, yung mga medical students, the healthcare providers are brought in the kitchen. Tinuturuan po kung paano yung food preparation. Kasi how do you motivate your patients to cook at home? Paano po sila tuturuan to eat healthy if you do not know how to prepare food yourself? Napakahirap pong gawin nun. So like I said, right now in the Philippines, we already have culinary medicine. I'm really happy and salute po talaga ako sa Agricultural Training Institute because they are embracing culinary medicine as part of their training programs. This was initiated by Dr. Caroline Dacchio. So this is ATI 7. They started introducing culinary medicine at their center and they have many beneficiaries already. In fact, nagkaroon na sila ng partnership with the Department of Education and then with the local government unit, and they are spreading culinary medicine in the community to increase awareness of healthy food consumption and preparation of food, specifically the harvest produce coming from the farmers. Now, culinary medicine is also integrated in the College of Medicine of Adventist University of the Philippines. And just recently, sinama na rin po siya sa training program ng Adventist University of the Philippines for College of Health, sa public health naman ito. Okay, so it's not only for medical school, but in public health as well, and it is in Agricultural Training Institute. So these are really good platforms, you know, to introduce culinary medicine and lifestyle modification kasi these are translatable skills, no, na pwede natin gawin sa ating kitchen. These are very doable strategies na pwede nating i-implement in the community, and it's always exciting and interesting when the community gets involved in preparation of food and they get to learn new things specifically on nutrition. Yun yung pinag-uusapan natin kanina. When you increase nutrition literacy of people in the community, that's where health awareness will start, no? So it's always nice to discuss kung ano ba yung nakukuha nating mga nutrients coming from the food that these farmers are producing. Ano rin po ba yung mga certain constituents on the food na ayaw po nating mag-accumulate sa katawan natin. Like what we have discussed earlier, higher salt intake and cholesterol intake is detrimental to our body. Pwede pong mag-develop tayo ng hypertension or heart disease, no? Tulad nung diniscuss natin kanina. And on the other hand, consumption of plant-based diet, gulay, prutas na kinakain, if that is occupying the center of your plate, if laging ganon ang laman ng ating pinggan, that means that can help you prevent heart disease and hypertension. And somehow, dun sa study sa pag-aaral na pinakita ko sa inyo kanina, they can even reverse heart disease with the help of healthcare professionals monitoring the condition of the patient. So the next part of our session is introducing to you healthy food preparations, some basic recipes and food preparation na pwede niyo pong gawin sa inyong mga bahay. Things that you can find from your kitchen, ingredients na lagi naman nating nakikita sa market. Now, when we put all these things together, we'll produce a very healthy options of food na lagi nating hinahanap, no? And you will be surprised that they are packed with nutrients, less in calories, and it is very, very helpful, specifically for patients na may hypertension at may heart disease. So I hope you will enjoy the next part of this session. And we have here several recipes that you can try at home.
Medicine is not a gourmet cooking. It pairs the art of food preparation and the science of medicine. It is the practice of helping patients use nutrition and good cooking habits to restore and maintain health. It's about teaching the why and the how behind low-cost, convenient, health-promoting, and delicious home-cooked meals and healthy eating patterns. Culinary medicine offers a simple approach to understand how food and cooking relate to personal health, behavior, and healthcare goals. It is as much about learning which food reduce inflammation and promote melting of cholesterol plaques in our blood vessels as it is about how to properly slice the onion and cook food with rich flavors and enticing plate preparation. More importantly, culinary medicine offers individuals an opportunity to practice culinary skills and taste new recipes alongside with health education, and all of which is taught in a way that effectively translates to their own home kitchen. The objective is to educate about the powerful influence that food has on health and disease. The goal is to establish skills in preparing meals with nutritional benefits and develop the habit of being a smart consumer, someone who would always consider what follows after every swallows. You will be learning about optimal diet for pregnant women, for example, who are in a crucial stage of determining the future health outcome of their offspring down to the next generation. There will also be a remarkable emphasis on chronic disease prevention and reversal, such as diabetes, heart disease, dyslipidemia, basing on published evidences. Bottom line is, culinary medicine is a course that should be taken by anyone who has the risk or who already have the chronic disease, where the cost is mostly within the control of our lips. See the link, register, and get your kitchen ready.
Mao kato atong episode karong adlaw mga ka-agri-friends. I'm sure aduna kitay natunan niadto, di ba? Ayaw na paglangan, sugdi na ug luto ang bulalo ug gang ginger balls. Daghang salamat sa atong resource person, Dr. Michelle Acero Palma. Kining atong programa sa AgriTalk is in partnership with the Department of Agriculture, Agricultural Training Institute, Manila Bulletin, and Smart Communication. Sa sunod nga episode, mga ka-agri-friends, dugang hisgutanan ang uban pang klase sa common diseases ug mga healthy recipes nga mahimo natong lutuon. Kita-kit sunod Biyernes, daghan kayong salamat sa inyong pag-uban kanamo karong buntaga. Amping kanunay and keep safe. God bless us all.